The ancient archivists of Velterra had maintained the galactic database for over 50,000 years. Their species lived for millennia, devoted entirely to recording the rise and fall of civilizations. When humanity first achieved faster-than-light travel, the archivists issued an unprecedented warning. Senior archivist Molreth presented his findings to the Galactic Assembly, his weathered form trembling with urgency. "I have studied Earth's history for 3 decades. I must warn you all, humanity is dangerous beyond measure. Not because of their technology or their numbers, but because of what they are." The assembly chamber erupted in laughter. The mighty Draxian Empire's representative, General Korvax, sneered openly. "Dangerous? They've barely left their own system. Their ships are primitive, their weapons outdated. What threat could they possibly pose?" Molretha's ancient eyes held no humor. "I have reviewed 12,000 years of their recorded history. They have fought over 40,000 documented wars. They have developed 300 distinct martial arts. They have written 10,000 treatises on strategy and warfare. And most terrifying of all, they fight each other. So?" Ambassador Lyssra of the Confederation interjected dismissively. "Many species have internal conflicts before achieving unity." "Not like this," Molreth insisted, projecting holographic data. "Humans have never stopped fighting. Even as they reached for the stars, they maintained militaries, honed combat skills, and refined the art of organized violence. They are the only species to achieve spaceflight while still maintaining over 200 separate nation-states, each with its own military." The Churati Emperor waved a dismissive appendage. "Then they are divided. Weak. Easily conquered or controlled." "You misunderstand," Molreth said desperately. "Their division makes them stronger. They compete, innovate, and push each other to greater heights. And when threatened from outside, they unify with terrifying efficiency. I found records of something they call the World Wars, conflicts so devastating they nearly destroyed their own civilization. Yet they recovered, learned, and continued advancing." The assembly ignored the warning. The Velterra were known for being overly cautious, seeing threats in shadows. Humanity was welcomed into galactic society with patronizing amusement, another primitive species to be guided by their betters. 50 years later, the Draxian Empire made its fatal mistake. Viewing humanity as weak and their territory as ripe for conquest, General Korvax's grandson launched a surprise attack on human colonies in the Centauri cluster. The war lasted 3 months. The Draxian Empire, which had dominated its sector for 6,000 years, ceased to exist. Humanity's response was so swift, so coordinated, and so overwhelmingly brutal that 12 other aggressive species immediately sued for peace with Earth, terrified they might be next. Molretha's successor, Archivist General, addressed a very different galactic assembly, one now dominated by human representatives and their allies. "My predecessor tried to warn you," General said quietly. "Humanity spent 300,000 years as persistence hunters on a death world. They chased prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. They learned to track, to coordinate, to never give up. Then they spent 10,000 years perfecting warfare against the most dangerous opponent imaginable, themselves." She pulled up the archived footage of the Draxian homeworld surrender. Human marines had reached the Imperial Palace in 48 hours, despite it being defended by the most sophisticated military in the known galaxy. "You thought humans were weak because they were new to space. You failed to understand that a species doesn't survive on Earth without becoming the apex predator. They brought those instincts with them to the stars." Ambassador Chen of Earth stood and addressed the assembly with characteristic human directness. "The archivists tried to warn you. You didn't listen. The Draxians paid for that arrogance. We hope others will be wiser." The assembly voted unanimously to establish formal treaties with humanity and to amend the galactic database's entry on Earth. The new classification read simply, Death World. Apex Predator Species. Approach with respect and caution. The Velterra were right. Across the galaxy, the phrase became a cautionary proverb: when the archivists warn you, listen. They're never wrong, only early.